Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight's headlines, we have the conference debate on the inscriptions of the on the UNESCO intangible. Israel killed and injured 530 health workers and patients in Lebanon. Welcome to our newsroom. Late Sunday morning, His Excellency, the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, received the Russian Minister of National Education, Mr. Sergei Kravtsov, accompanied by a delegation led by the Minister of Education. Listen to the report.
Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed received the Russian Minister of National Education, Mr. Sergei Kravtsov, accompanied by a delegation led by the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training of Djibouti. This meeting provided an opportunity to take stock of bilateral relations between the two countries as well as to address the regional situation in international news. The discussions mainly focused on the exchange of experiences to strengthen partnerships in the fields of education and training. Among the topics discussed were increasing the number of Djiboutian students pursuing their studies in Russia, promoting the Russian language in Djibouti, as well as exploring new levers to boost civil cooperation and open up to a more diversified fields. A working meeting is planned with the Department of National Education of Djibouti to analyze the challenges in implementing educational and training reforms. The meeting aims to develop a concrete action plan to address the challenges of the sector and strengthen the impact of bilateral initiatives. During his stay, Mr. Sergei Kravtsov honored the invitation of his Djiboutian counterpart by participating in various cultural and tourist activities. He was able to immerse himself in Djiboutian traditions, including visit to the village of Sagallu, known for its picturesque landscapes and local crafts, and the historic city of Tajarrah, often called the White Pearl. Because of its traditional architecture, he also had the opportunity to dive in the Blue Lagoon, a site famous for its crystal clear waters, home to exceptional marine biodiversity and unique flora. A further meeting is planned during the World Conference on Education, which will be held in Moscow in June 2025. The meeting was marked by the participation of several personalities, including Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, Minister of Education and Vocational Training of Djibouti, His Excellency Mikhail Golovanov, Ambassador of the Russian Federation to Djibouti, Dr. Ali Mohammed Kamil, Ambassador of Djibouti, as well as Mr. Ali Sileh Abdullah, Head of the Office of the Prime Minister.
The Minister of National Education of the Russian Federation, Mr. Sergei Kravtsov, at the head of delegation is comprising Mr. Usman Rasukhanov, Rector of Pedagogical University of Chechen Republic, Mr. Ismail Baikanov, Director of International Cooperation, arrived in Djibouti on Thursday, December 19, 2024 for an official visit. On arrival at the Djibouti International Airport, he was warmly welcomed. These welcomes mark officials' greetings of a brief exchange symbolizes the growing ties between the two nations. The minister, accompanied by the ambassador of the Russian Federation in Djibouti, Michael Alexievich, acting secretary general of the MENFOP, Salah Alwan, and senior MENFOP staff visited the Tajoura regions the following day. Tajoura regions on board of Djibouti Coast Guard launch. On arrivals of the jetty, the minister and his minister's delegation were welcomed by the prefect of Tajoura, Mr. Muhammad Abbas, and the president of the regional council, Omar Hussein Omar. The delegation then went on the residence of the Sultan of the Tajoura, Mr. Ali Habib Ahmed, and several of the region's elders. The meeting took marked by respect and conviviality the long traditions of the Sultanate of the Afar, handed down from generations to generations. The Sultan recalled the central role of this institution in preserving the cultural values and identity of the Afar community. A highlight of the visit was the evocations of the in 1889 Russian expeditions led by the Akinov to Sagallu, which bears witnesses the first interactions. Following the meeting with the Sultan of Tajoura, the Russian Federation, the Russians of Minister of Education and his delegation visited the coastal village of Sagallu. On arrival, they were greeting with the traditional song and dance. The women dressed in bright outfit danced to the rhythms of drums and polyphonic songs, while the men performed martial dances. reflecting the hospitality and cultural richness of the Afar community, and the majestic dune palm, a symbol of serenity. The minister chatted with the village elders. The discussions focused on the Russian expeditions in 1889, when the Russians landed on Sagalu Beach. The elders shared the stories handed down from generation to generation, highlighting the peaceful cohabitation and the acts of solidarity between the Russians and the local population. In his speech, Mr. Sergei Kravtsov thanked the people of Sagalu for their warm welcomes and stressed the importance of rediscovering the shared history between Russia and Djibouti. He said Sagalu symbolizes the friendship and long-standing relations between our peoples. We must honor our shared history to build a strong relations future generation. An exchange of gifts marked the end of this memorable meeting. A traditional Afar was presented by the elders, symbolizing strength and loyalty of a Russian icons representing Saint Andrew, patron saint of sailors, presented by Mr. Kravtsov. The minister then visited the Sagalu Primary School, where he praised the efforts of the teachers to quality education despite the challenges. The official visit of Mr. Sergei Kravtsov, Minister of National Education of the Russian Federation, and his delegation to Djibouti continued on Friday, December, with the highlights in Sagalu and Tujura, accompanied by the Acting Secretary General of MENFOP, Mr. Salah Alwan Isse, and senior ministry staff. The Russian delegation visited the historic site of Sagalu, marked by Akinov expeditions in 1889. These missions, which left Russia in December 1889, aimed to establish a Russian presence in Ethiopia after landing in the Gulf of Tadjoura in January in 1889, and set up temporary quarters in Sagalu, a former Egyptian fort. The difficult climatic conditions and complex interactions led by the expedition to return to Russia. To immortalize this historic episode, a ceremony to lay the foundation stone for a commemorative stele. This monument, built in collaboration with the local authorities, will be symbolizes ties of friendship and cooperation between Russia and Djibouti. The delegation then continued to its visit to Tadjoura, where an official lunch was held in the honor of the Gadile Resort Hotel. These convivial occasions provided an opportunity for constructive exchanges between representatives, strengthening bilateral relations in the field of education and in cultural cooperation. This historic visit testifies between the Russian Federation and Djibouti and opens up a new prospect for partnership in education, cultures, and beyond. Under the chairmanship of the Honorable Sharmaki Musa Arwe, the Finance General Economy and Planning Commissions continued on Sunday, December 2024, its examinations and of the initial PLFI for fiscal year 2025. This enlarged sessions, which brought together members standing committee, was attended by the Minister of Budget, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, accompanied by his minister's top officials. Discussions focused mainly on tax measures and revenue-related provisions on the PLFA 2025. The Commission will continue its work tomorrow, Monday, with the further analysis and hearings scheduled to further examine the projects. On Saturday, December 21, 2024, the auditorium of the Djibouti National Library hosted a scientific conference to mark the closing of the National Heritage Week. Listen for more details.
Sunday, December 21st, 2024, as part of the closing of the National Heritage Week, the auditorium of the National Library of Djibouti hosted a scientific conference and debates co-organized by UNESCO Djibouti and the National Agency for the Promotion of Culture. Under the aegis of the Ministry of Youth and Culture, as part of the celebrations of the inscription of Her Isse on the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity by UNESCO. This morning, rich in exchanges and celebrations took place under the patronage of Dr. Hibo Mu'min Assowi, Minister of Youth and Culture of Djibouti, and brought together an audience of prestigious guests, including, among others, ministers from the Somali State region of Ethiopia, Djiboutian parliamentarians, as well as municipal and regional elected officials. After the speeches by the officials officials, the scientific interventions began in the form of enriching panels and debates with the large audience. A highlight of the morning was the announcement of the English translation of the first book dedicated to Her Ise. This publication, which will soon be available in libraries and online, will make this heritage accessible to an international audience. The morning ended on an optimistic note with a call to continue efforts to inscribe other Djiboutian heritage on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The conference was a great success, contributing to the recognition of the universal statue of Her Ise and its preservation with valorization, education, and training programs, while highlighting the importance of regional cooperation for the safeguarding of the common cultural heritage. Finally, the experts of the intangible cultural heritage outlined to the ministers and heads of delegations of the three submitting countries the inevitable agenda of collegial activities to be implemented to honor the report expected by UNESCO within 4 years. Family photos and reactions to the RTD microphone closed a day of rich and fruitful exchange.
The INPC General Manager Mohamed Hussein Douale underlined the vital importance of this conference in the international recognition of Her Ise. For her part, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Momin Asowe, also highlighted the significance of these recognitions obtained on December 5, 2024. She expressed her gratitude for the researcher and player in the three countries concerning Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Somalia for their decisive role in this success. The RTD has taken a new step in enhancement its audiovisual heritage yesterday afternoon in the RTD's meeting rooms. Listen to the report.
RTD's General Management, in collaboration with Radio Television of Turkey, TRT, organized the closing ceremony of an archive training course for Radio Division Television Djibouti RTD Archive Department staff yesterday afternoon in the meeting room. The closing ceremony was chaired by RTD's General Director, Mr. Adan Abdi Jama, and attended by the RTD managers from various departments, the representative of the Turkish Embassy in Djibouti, and the experts and trainers. The aim of the 5-day training course was to enhance participants' skills in the management, conservation, and enhancement of archival documents within the RTD. The training provided by Turkish experts and trainers is an essential means of obtaining a diagnostic report on the system currently in force and the procedures for safeguarding RTD's media heritage. Through this training, RTD's general management aims to strengthen the capacity of its staff to preserve the country's audiovisual history, guarantee accessibility to the archives, and ensure their security for future generations. The ceremony was marked by the presentation of certificates to the beneficiaries, symbolizing the successful completion of this in-depth training and their commitment to improving archival practices within RTD's Archives Department. Each recipient received a certificate attesting to their participation and the quality of their learning during the session. In addition, a convivial moment was devoted to an exchange of gifts between participants and trainers, reinforcing the bonds of collaboration and exchange within the Archives Department. The closing ceremony of the Archives training course ended with a family photo. The trainer from Turkey began by expressing his deep gratitude for the opportunity to conduct this training course for the archive staff of Radio Vision Television Djibouti. He covered the essential concepts of archive management, from classification to conservation, digitization, and the management of audiovisual data.
Now listen to the General Manager of RTD.
Un immense plaisir, mais un grand honneur pour moi cette
Today marks a significant milestone for Radio Division Television Djibouti as we conclude this valuable training program in collaboration with our esteemed partners from TRT. This initiative reflects our unwavering commitment to preserving and safeguarding our nation's audiovisual heritage. By enhancing the skills of our archive department staff, we ensure that the stories, culture, and history of Djibouti remain accessible and secure for future generations. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Turkish experts for sharing their expertise and to all participants for their dedication and enthusiasm. Let us continue to work together to elevate our standards and maintain our archives as a beacon of our shared identity and pride.
The handover of equipment to the Coast Guard reinforced commitment to migration management at sea on Thursday, December 19, 2024. The Hall of Honor of the Dorale Camp Naval Training Center was the scene of an official ceremony to hand over equipment to the Djibouti Coast Guard. The ceremony was presided over by Colonel Wais Omar Bore, commander of the Djibouti Coast Guard. The ceremony was attended by Miss Tania Pacifico, representative of the International Organization for Migration in Djibouti, Ms. Layla Hassan, national coordinator of JAIS BMM, and Mr. Christian Sporadic, chargé d'affaires representing the European Union delegations to Djibouti and IGAD. This initiative is part of the effort to combat clandestine migrations and strengthen search, rescues, and assistance capabilities at sea, particularly for migrants in distress. Opening the ceremony, Ms. Layla Hassan underlined the central role of the Djibouti Coast Guard in the fight against clandestine migrations and in the humanitarian management of migratory flows. She stressed the importance of the missions carried out by this institution to protect migrants while preserving maritime safety. A closing ceremony looking to the future, the ceremony concluded with the official handover followed by symbolic exchanges of gifts between the partners. For his part, Mr. Christian Spodaric, for his part, reiterated the constant and unwavering support of the Djibouti European Union, notably through funding to strengthen the governance of migrations and the operational capacities of the players involved. For her part, Ms. Tania Pacifico praised the Djibouti government's commitment to managing migratory emergencies and the exemplary efforts made to rescue migrants at sea, while recalling the long-standing partnership between IOM and the Djibouti authorities. Taking the floor to close the speech, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore expressed his gratitude to International Organization for Migration and JAIS, European Union, and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development for their support. He stated this equipment will enable the Djibouti Coast Guard to set up its operations and contribute to better organized migrations respectful of human rights. As part of its efforts to preserve, the National Police recently created a new specialized unit, the Environmental and Green Space Policies, charged with the protecting and enhancing our natural heritage. This unit has launched its first ambitious initiative last Friday with a cleanup operation, tree planting operation along the route Nagada. In the early hour on the morning, dozens of police officers mobilized to clear the road of rubbish before planting around 100 shrubs. The aim of this symbolic action is not only to beautify this road, but also to reinforce the greening of our country. To ensure the sustainability of this effort, the environmental police will patrol regularly to prevent any damage to the plant shrubs and keep the area clean. With this operation, the National Police reaffirms its commitment to the environment by taking such initiatives. It hopes to raise public awareness of the importance of preserving our living environment and to encourage them to take actions to make our country cleaner and greener. 96 cup of cannabis. The investigation is carried out the largest scale operation is the investigation carried out in the neighborhood force and City Saudi led to the arrest of 7 individuals, including the head of the network. Suspect also included drug dealers and employees of a transit company suspected of having used his contacts with the Ethiopian truck drivers to transport the drugs. This highly structured network has set up a sophisticated distribution system using local cabs to supply various districts of the capital. This organization demonstrated a high level of coordination among the traffickers. The seizure, with an estimated market values estimated at 1,400,000, highlights the meticulous and determined works of the investigator. At the end of the operation, the suspects, including one woman, were presented to the public prosecutor. In view of the seriousness of the fact, the magistrate referred the cases and magistrate opening a judicial inquiry to pursue the investigations. This case highlights the effectiveness of drugs squad and its commitment to the fight against this scourge. In Djibouti, the leadership and community awareness training came to a close on Tuesday at the Sunny Hill Center in Arta, organized in collaboration with the National Institute of Public Administration. This training is part of the project entitled Civil Society Participation in Governance and Local Development in Djibouti. The event brought together key players, including civil society organizations and local authorities. Among those present were Mr. Almi Bouh, Artas Regional Council, Sharmaki Hassan, President of the Kopil and Al Sabih Region, Sharmaki Idris, Director of INAP, Flavien Sassé, ATE and IMF, Mr. Fatuma Yusuf, representative of the decentralization. This ambitious project, implemented by the International Mayor Associations with the support of the European Union, aims to strengthen local inclusive and participatory governance. During this training, participants followed the practical modules designed to develop leadership skills to effectively mobilize this community, raise awareness of local development issues, and promote close collaboration between civil society organizations and local authorities. By emphasizing on participatory governance centered on the needs of citizens, this initiative strengthens ties between local players and paves the way for harmonious and sustainable development. A fine example of cooperation strengthen local capacity and foster development in Djibouti. In Ali Sabih, security forces intensified their fight against smuggling in Ali Sabih. The Customs Brigade of Ali Sabih, in collaboration with the police and the Bias Army, intercepted an illegal shipment of 1,500 kilograms of cat and outskirts of the town of Ali Sabih. According to the authority, the smugglers were attempting to smuggle illicit goods to the capital. In accordance with the current procedures, the cargo was destroyed in the presence of Mr. Muhammad Mumin Hassan, head of the Ali Sabih Customs Brigade. This operation is part of a series of regular actions aimed at eradicating smuggling. Every week, large quantities of cat banned from import and sales are seized and incinerated by customs officers. The president of the Somalia, Dr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, has laid the foundation stone for the Gateway Complex project, which includes modern building houses, shopping centers, and international hotels, educational facilities, and platforms for hosting international conference and events. This project is an important milestone illustrating the stability of the countries and its return to the path of development. The project is being financed by Premier Bank, which has put millions of dollars into the investment in its home countries and should be completed within the 25 24 months. The chairman of Premier Bank, Jibril Hassan Mohammed, explained the importance of this project for the country. For his part, President Sheikh Mahmoud Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud hailed the initiative of the entrepreneurs who have taken this step forward and stressed that this project will considerably change the face of Somalia. He also added that Somalia has the best prospects for the futures in East Africa and that international investment underway are drawing the world's attention to the country. The completion of this project is part of the government's policy to promote the country's development. And to close up this edition, for the international scene, Israel killed and wounded 530 health workers and patients in Lebanon. Listen to the report.
Fire and the cessation of hostilities took effect on 27th November, offering temporary relief for the millions of civilians caught in the conflict in Lebanon. But Lebanon's suffering did not end amid a staggering and meet health need. Bordering Syria and Israel, Lebanon's overburdening health system is reeling from the impact of an economic crisis, political deadlock, refugee crisis, and now war. The country is host to 1.5 million Syrian refugees. Inevitably, events in Syria impact Lebanon and WHO operations. Syrian nationals are entering Lebanon at the same time as Syrian refugees are returning to Syria from Lebanon. An already decimated health system remarkably withstood to latest storm, but it has been further weakened. The challenges are complex and call for specialized, sustained support, said WHO representative to Lebanon, Dr. Abdel Nasser Abu Bakr.
And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.